So what a week it's been for Hugh Freeze and the Auburn Tigers. Just last week, we sat down and talked about Auburn getting a massive flip over the Georgia Bulldogs for one of the best prospects in the nation, five-star linebacker out the state of Alabama, DeMarcus Riddick, and why that was so big for Hugh Freeze and the Tigers. But today, here we are once again, and Auburn has once again flipped a five-star prospect, this time from the Alabama Crimson Tide, and you already know, we have got to talk about it all. But before we can, as always, y'all know the drill, I have got to hear from you. Hop down to the comments, give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Are you surprised that Perry Thompson flips from Alabama to Auburn? Let me know what you're thinking. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification as I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoyed the content, be sure to like and comment down below. Those interactions seem small, they are massive to content creators such as myself, and we are right around the corner from 20,000 subscribers. I'd love to have you a part of this unbelievable community, but having said all that, let's jump right into this. And first and foremost, who is Perry Thompson? Well, Perry Thompson, as I alluded to in the intro, is one of the most gifted prospects in the class of 2024. If we look, he comes in as a five-star prospect and one of the best players in the state of Alabama. Specifically, per the 24/7 Sports Composite, he ranks as the number 32 prospect in the nation, regardless of position, the number 8 wide receiver, and the number 4 player in the state of Alabama. And this year, the state of Alabama has got a lot of impressive talent in it, and Perry Thompson is among the top of that. He stands 6'3", 205 pounds, and he excels at every facet of the game of football. Whenever you turn on the film, the first thing you're going to realize is not only does he have the body type of a physical wide receiver where you can utilize his frame to box out defensive backs to high point of football, he's also got legitimate speed. I mean, this is a guy that has a sub 11 second 100-meter dash before his senior year of high school. So he brings size, speed, physicality all to the table, and because of that, this is a very exciting prospect. It makes complete sense why he's ranked as a five-star and why so many schools were after him. And for Hugh Freeze, this is a phenomenal win. Hugh Freeze and the Auburn Tigers have been putting in fantastic work on the recruiting trail, and I'm not surprised at all whenever they grab the attention of offensive players around the nation. We know what Hugh Freeze offenses can do. We remember what they were when he was at Ole Miss, where he was putting up big numbers. We've seen what he has done even outside of Ole Miss, where the offensive prowess has just continued, and one would be reasonable to believe that will continue at Auburn. So I'm not surprised in the least to see a five-star offensive prospect look at the Auburn Tigers, especially a wide receiver, and say, that piques my interest, especially for a guy that's from the state of Alabama. You can imagine he's been pulled by those two major universities in the state for quite some time. So for Auburn, this is a great win. But what does this really mean for the Tigers in terms of their recruiting for the 2024 class? And secondly, what does this mean for the Crimson Tide? Well, let's start with the first. For the Auburn Tigers, this puts them as the number 17 recruiting class in the nation with 14 commits. And really, that is a phenomenal place to be. The season is right around the corner, and already you sit as a top 20 recruiting class in the nation with 14 guys in the class. What that means is not only do you have a phenomenal foundation, you still have room to grow. And personally, I always think that's a fantastic place to be, because you can try and flip prospects, you can hone in on guys. You're just sitting in a really advantageous position. And so for Auburn fans, I think you have got to be over the moon excited. Hugh Freeze is trying to come in there, turn the program around, and right now, based on the way they're recruiting, they're serious about getting results. But what does this mean for Alabama? Should the Crimson Tide be worried about Auburn? And though I don't think they should be worried yet, worried is a little bit of a strong word, they definitely need to take note. Look, one thing we've got to acknowledge, Alabama, Georgia, what they've been doing here recently in college football is incredible in terms of developing, and they're certainly not alone. Teams like Clemson, Ohio State, their rate of development is just insane. And that development is going to keep them in the fold for top recruits, especially Alabama, especially a Georgia that win at the rate they do. And I understand there will be people saying, but Alabama is coming off of a disappointing year. If your disappointing year is a 2-loss season, I mean, most fan bases, most coaches in the nation would trade a whole lot to take Alabama's disappointing season. But nonetheless, you cannot ignore what Hugh Freeze and the Auburn Tigers are doing. We cannot ignore that Hugh Freeze is a coach that has had Nick Saban's number on the football field. Those high-power Ole Miss offenses were able to get the job done. Now he's in the same state. Now he has Auburn backing him, and he can recruit with the Auburn brand behind him. it's definitely something you cannot ignore. You have got to take note of it. If you ignore it, that's where it will turn into a major concern. Something's got to be done, but I don't think Alabama needs to sound the alarm bells and be worried. Alabama has got a proud history. They just signed a recruiting class that featured 9 5-stars per 24/7 Sports. And if we look at the class of 2024, they're a top 15 recruiting class in the nation with 14 commits, the 3rd highest average recruit rank in the top 20, and a 5-star quarterback who may just be pushing for the #1 quarterback status in the nation. So Alabama is sitting good, but there is no doubt this flip hurts. Perry Thompson was an individual that the Crimson Tide fan base were very much well looking forward to for good reason. Unbelievably talented, and now Auburn has it. So what Auburn does with the remainder of this recruiting class, you can bet your bottom dollar I'm going to be interested, as too will many other college football fans, because Hugh Freeze has officially put college football on notice, and I can't wait to hear from all of you. Hop down into the comments, let me know what you're thinking. That's it. See ya.